Welcome back. Today we are talking about curves, confidence, and creativity. We want to know what makes a good pattern, why representation matters, and how to embrace your body and your style. So we have our resident curvy girl expert Zahiyya of Cover Me Chic here. Tell us a little bit about your approach to making this line for the curvy girl, catering to a curvy woman. Tell us a little bit about your approach to that.
A lot of designers kind of scratch their own itch. When I started sewing eons ago, I just sewed the patterns the way they came. And, just like off the rack, they don't make it necessarily for women with curves. So when I started learning about, fit and curves and stuff like that, I was like, that's when I started adjusting patterns. And I was in the industry for a long time and they don't cater to us. And that's why I sew all of my clothes. And I basically started the Cover Me Chic because, there wasn't really a pattern company that really, catered to just hips and butts. That's what I really focus on. Because there's a lot of, different ones for like different cup sizes and stuff like that, but not necessarily for hips and butts. So when you're sewing pants, when you're sewing dresses, you always have to make adjustments. So you always have to, make the the rise in the back bigger, add some, 2 inches or an inch or so to the back for dresses. So basically I draft the patterns so that it fits us the way it's supposed to.
Don't forget, for most of us, our waists are proportionately smaller than our booties and hips. So just to have that kind of exclusivity where something is made just for that purpose. It's so funny because as I'm teaching, the first thing we do is take measurements. Everybody is always darn near fainting as they take their measurements because on paper they might be like an 8 or a 12. But when it comes to pattern sizing, that 12 may go up to a 16 and they don't understand that. I have to explain to them that fast fashion is made for, they take a 5'6", size 2'4" model and they use her as the standard for everybody. That's what you have to teach them when you're trying to get them to understand that nobody has a perfect body. We all have bits and pieces that we don't like. I mean, even the slimmest person has bits and pieces they don't like. I guess for me, with Fearless Threads, I don't do a lot of clothing. The few pieces of clothing that I make are like these one size pieces. I'll do a kimono or something like that. But for myself, I am the queen of, I will hack a pattern to death to make it fit. And once you get that pattern for that perfect trouser, you just keep it because you've worked so hard to get it to where you want it to be.
So it's two different things. For, let's say, I'll start with the curvy person who's just trying to find something to fit. So I had someone, a young lady, and she wanted to get a suit. So I told her, I was like, well, let me take your measurements. So, like any good sewist, I keep a tape measure in my bag. Only people that sew understand that. So I took her measurements and I said, okay, so when you're getting a suit, especially she wanted to get a skirt suit and a pantsuit, I said, I want you to think about, you can do separates, or if you have your measurements, and she is one who's bottom heavy. I said, so we're going to get your measurements. You will find out the biggest part of yourself, and you're going to buy your garment based on the biggest part of yourself. Everything else can be taken in. She got a skirt suit and it fit her bottom half, but the jacket was loose. I was like, that's like, no worries. That can be taken in. When you are really looking for something to fit, find out what the biggest part of you fit for that size. Everything else can be taken in and tailored in, especially considering some suits now are like $30, $40. Well, I can tell you right now, if I make you a suit, it's not going to be that price because fabric, exactly, fabric alone for 1 yard costs more than that. So it's better to just go to the store, find a good tailor or alteration person who can actually make that garment to fit your body. So that was one of the things that I told her, and I've been telling everybody. But when you are also, since I am a tech person and also a fit expert, when I'm actually looking at designs and I get a handoff, I'm thinking about our measurements. So our standard fit model for Missy would be a medium. Well, two sizes can fit in the medium. But also in plus, there's different things. So when you're looking at it, you're looking at it as I wanted to fit this person, but I'm also thinking of the other bodies that need to go into it. I want to make sure it's not too big, not too tight. And when you're dealing with curvy, especially when we get to the plus sizes, we can't just say, "Oh, we're going to take it from a medium. We're going to grade it all the way up to a 4X." No, two different bodies, babe. That does not work. Yeah, and this is why you'll see some things that don't fit. So I want you to remember this. It's not about the size. It's not about the 8'10". It's about what is your measurement for your chest, for your waist, for your hips. If that's the largest part of you, that is the part that you need to dress. Go. You need to shop. Everything else can be taken in by a good tailor.
And that's the same thing with patterns because basically when you're fitting for like a pattern, you always go for the largest part. You can always tailor in, the waist or, wherever that is. But usually when I buy patterns or when I'm making patterns, if it's the top, I do it for the neck and the shoulder, and then I add for the bust if I have to, and then I do the widest part of my hip, and then I take that in because you want it to fit well on your shoulders and then you want it to fit well on your hips. So there's two different types of ways that you can go about it. But I do tutorials, so you can check me out, Cover Me Chic. Basically, when you're looking for patterns for curvy women, you really have to take in consideration, your largest part, like Tish said, and then everything else can be adjusted.
In my class, we were talking about this because one of my students didn't understand why the crotch area of the back of her pants was so much bigger than the front. And I said, well, you don't have to accommodate as much in the front as you do in the back. And then I went on to explain to them how after we took our measurements and they were reading the back of the envelope to try to find their size, and one of them posed a very good question, which I wait for the question, but I always teach anyway. And she said, well, if my waist is this and my bust is this, which one do I go with? And I said, well, which one is bigger? And she said, well, I think she said the bust was bigger. I said, you always go with the bigger part because think about it. You're pulling something over your head. It's going to get stuck right here if you haven't accommodated for where your bust is going to go. So, it comes naturally for us because it's what we do, but seeing it through new sewist eyes is really really fun to see, and when you can always tell when they get it and when that light bulb moment comes on. So
Yeah. So what common, like when you were making commercial patterns even before, back in the day, what was the common adjustment that you had to make so that it fits your body?
Well, well, for me, I am not a part of the bottom heavy crew. Sorry, I'm just not. I'm the other way around. So it's trying to enlarge the area for my boobs, my chest, but also not make it where it's droopy, the armholes. So it's really learning about, hey, darts help a lot when you're working and you're trying to fit larger chests and understanding, hey, shoulders and everything of that nature. But when I was teaching for at one of the universities, and one of the models had a larger behind, I'm gonna say, and yet the young woman, she didn't understand how to correct it. So I said, well, she's gonna need more depth. I was like, because it's going this way. She's like, oh. I said, so your pattern needs to go this way. So when she finally figured it out and I showed her how to manipulate and how to slash and spread it, she cut the pants back out and they fit her perfect. And the model was so happy. She was like, oh my gosh, I've never had a pair of pants to fit my behind.
Yes. And that has been just like even off the rack. I can't buy most of the pants that I go and try to find and try on, none of them, if it fits my hips, it's like gapping in the back, otherwise it doesn't go over. So it's just like I make most of my clothes because of that. Because they've gotten better with jeans because they have stretch in it. So you can find some jeans that work, but like dress pants or just any type of cargo pant or anything, no, you have to really tailor it for your body.
Can I say there's a commercial with Beyonce, and she has on denim. Have you all seen that commercial? She has a denim jacket on, I'm sorry. She has a denim jacket. Yeah, she has a denim jacket and a denim jeans on. And me, I was like, oh, they had. I know they had to tailor this to make sure it fit. So I'm looking, being a sew person in tech design, I'm literally rewinding, fast forwarding because I'm trying to focus on what did they do? Did they make the right corrections to get this to fit her? And right, Levi's does not fit Levi's. What they call y'all in Cali. No, 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 they don't fit. They and
Well, you know what? Wait, I take that back. I take that back. They do have a curvy. They used to sell it. They used to, and they discontinued it because I do have Levi's, and they have a curvy. They had a curvy. I don't know if it was curvy signature. I don't know what it was called, but I did get a couple. I mean, I still have them because they fit. So I mean, but they discontinued, so I can't find them anymore. They did have it. They did have it.
No, but for me, see, my problem is double edged, right? Because I do have a black girl bottom, but I'm also short, right? So I have, not only do I have to tailor for length because everything is made for somebody 5'8" and above, and I'm not that. I also have to accommodate for hip. So it's, I mean, it's tedious, but like I said, once you have created your perfect pants pattern, make a muslin of it, make two muslins of it because you're going to wear it out. That's going to become your favorite pants. So,
You know, I mean, just piggybacking off what you just said. When they do like commercial patterns, they make it for like 5'8". I'm not, I'm not 5'8" either. So when you do, so when you do, like, even when you're trying to do a dress, I had to adjust the bodice as well. So I had to raise the bodice because first of all, it has to go over your butt. So you have to make the bodice shorter because it's for 5'8" and I'm 5'4", so that's a difference of 4 inches. And then you had to make the skirt longer. So it's a lot of different like tricks that you can do to make the stuff fit, or you can just buy cover me chic patterns because they fit you anyway.
and I have one of my clients I have the opposite problem with because she's long, you know. So everything that I'm teaching her and showing her how to do, we have to add length to. And so it just goes back to our original statement. None of us has the perfect body for anything that is commercially made. And by commercially made, I mean ready to wear, fast fashion, and commercial sewing patterns. None of us has the body for the measurements that they use for those things. Specifically, if they are being made and measured in other countries, because their body shapes are very, very different than American body shapes. And I don't mean just black body shapes, even though that's who our target is right now. I mean every body shape. You know, I was in the South, and trust me, everybody in the South has a big butt of any color. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they all have to, we just have to adapt. But I guess in making your own clothes, it's easier to know how to make those adjustments. It's so funny to hear my students talking about how they want to do tailoring. I'm like, okay, talk to me in 2 years about wanting to do tailoring.
it is. Alterations is a very lucrative business if you put in the time and you're patient.
You have to have the patience for it. I guess our final thought, like, we are all emotionally connected to our bodies. We all want to look good. We all have to grapple with the fact that we have to dress the body that we're in. So I guess, how do you all recommend dealing with that body image and that emotion that comes from trying something on and it's like, oh my God, it doesn't fit. I'm never trying on clothes again. Because we've all been there. For me, I don't try on clothes. I come home, I try them on at home. That way, if I need to cry, I can cry in the comfort of my own home and then take it back to the store.
You know what? I'm for someone who does a lot of I like that's been in the fashion industry. I don't like shop. I just don't like shopping because it's just it's because it's not a good experience because the stuff that I like I can't fit, you know. So it's not necessarily that I don't like to see, you know, stuff. I just know that it's not going to fit me the way it needs to fit me. So I don't I mean I would I used to, like when you were younger, you like, oh, something's wrong, you know, but there's nothing wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. When they mass produce clothes, they try to fit as many as people as possible, but in doing that, they really don't fit anyone, you know, because they're not really specific into the body type that they're really going after. So there's nothing wrong with you. That's number one. Number two is just like find the clothes that fit you and that flatter your body, whatever body that you have. Whether whether you like it or not, there's clothes that will work for your body that will make you look really, really good. And I know when you look good, you feel good, you act different, you confident, you do your thing. And it doesn't even matter how much it costs. If it fits you well, it'll look like $1,000,000. Like if you spend like $10,000 on something that doesn't fit, it doesn't matter. But if you spend like $50 on something and it fits you like to the T, you'll look like $1,000,000. So it's all about how things fit.
And you will feel like $1,000,000.
Exactly. So there is an emotion to it, and I think the better clothes fit you, the more confident you feel, and the better you are, just to knock it out. Just knock it out. So any final thoughts?
I would say my final thought would be embrace the body that you have because hey, it's the one that God has gifted you. So embrace it, love it, and don't worry about the numbers in the tags of what size it is. As long as it looks good, that's great.
So I'll take it out. I'm Zahiyya from Cover Me Chic, along with
Letitia, and keeping you in stitches.
And Naima from Fearless Threads.
See you next time.